Picking up here, the Health Ministry says more than 10,000 healthcare workers have now received the Johnson & Johnson vaccine. Government decided to roll the jab out as part of an implementation study. That's after the AstraZeneca vaccine showed a significant reduction in strength against the COVID-19 variant first identified in South Africa at the end of last year. President Cyril Ramaphosa and the Health Minister Zweli Mkhize were among government officials who've already taken the vaccine after approval from the South African Health Products Regulatory Authority for a protocol adjustment. For more on this, let's speak to SAPRA CEO, Dr. Boitumelo Semete Mokokotlela. Doctor, very good evening to you. Thank you for being with us. So this is no ordinary vaccine rollout, isn't it? Because the Johnson & Johnson jab has only been approved under study use. What does that mean for the people who've actually taken the jab and are going to take it?
Sure. So what it means is that, we've received data from what would be their first phase 3A clinical trial, and we are satisfied in terms of the data that they've provided around the efficacy and the safety. We just need more data to be collected. As you're aware, we do have the prevalent strain in South Africa that requires us to collect more data around this. So the implementation study is to allow for then the individuals that would be vaccinated, for them to be followed up so that we get more data around that the strain that is prevalent in the country. So this is something that we do regularly. We've done it in the past also for other studies. So we've done this before. And while the implementation study is going on, we're also busy with the review of the vaccine for then, registration purposes.
And just on the data that you would need, we've now received the first 80,000 doses from Johnson & Johnson. This is, in effect, part of a research process. So what will you be looking for in the people who've already been inoculated?
So the key thing that we would be looking for, like we would have done, for example, with the AstraZeneca vaccine, is around the safety. So the individuals will be tracked in terms of any adverse side effects, and that we will do for all vaccines. In this case, what we will be tracking also is its efficacy against the, more data around its efficacy around the strain that is prevalent in South Africa. And so those are the key parameters. But all the vaccines will continue to review their safety profile as we would have done with the AstraZeneca one.
With that in mind, do you think in some of the messaging it's gotten lost that this is not a general mass vaccine rollout for COVID-19 because of this academic element that comes with people taking the jab? So,
what we've approved this implementation study for is for healthcare workers. So its rollout is very much specific within that group of individuals. So typically with the phase 3B, you do indicate, who it should be administered to. Again, it is to allow that we continue to collect more data.
And people would, of course, have to give or sign an informed consent form before they receive the injection. I'm wondering about how the information is then communicated to them and whether you look into that part of the process.
Yeah, so and this is where the study principal investigators come in, because they've provided us with the regulator with all their documentation around the informed consent, how they will track, and that's what we've authorized. So we're quite confident that what they have then provided as part of the application for the study is sufficient, and they will be providing us as the regulator regular reports on this implementation study.
Let's talk about the threshold. I was reading about how the study would test the effects of the vaccine in the field after it's given to 350,000 to 500,000 workers. How do you explain that technicality?
So the key thing with this implementation study is that from a perspective of the amount of doses that would be available for this for this study, it's only at an amount of about 500,000 or so. And so while this is ongoing, as you're aware, the government is, looking to procure other vaccines. We are busy with the review of other vaccines. So as is accepted globally, I think different countries are implementing, different types of vaccines. Some have got the Pfizer and Moderna as well as the AstraZeneca, or even, the J&J is still under review in many other countries as we speak. So this is, what you also are seeing in other countries. But with the case of what we've approved and the doses that will be coming for this implementation study is in that range of 500,000. And we're hopeful that by the time that this is done, we would have then finalized, the rolling review that we're busy with for the vaccine.
And just on the rolling review, have you received any more paperwork from Johnson & Johnson, and how's it looking?
Yeah, we've received, their most recent data, and it's looking promising, and that's why we could authorize a phase 3B study on the basis of the data that we have. And so, we don't foresee, many challenges based on the data that we've received, but it's important that we collect as much data, and hence it's a rolling review, that as they generate this data, they're going to make it available to us.
All right. Dr. Boitumelo Semete Mokokotlela, good to speak to you. Thank you.